Welcome back to WCDC Art. Keep watching to see how we made this festive button wreath for the holiday season. To complete this project, you'll need a 6x6 canvas board, 2 red pipe cleaners, red, green, and white buttons, and a pencil. You'll also need paintbrushes, a paint palette, tacky glue, and blue and white acrylic paint. So our first step in this project is to paint our background blue. So I'm going to take my darker blue paint and mix it with some white just to get a light blue color. And then I'm just going to paint the entire surface. So I want to make sure that I get a nice even coat of this light blue color. When you're done with the first coat, you can let that dry and then come back to see if you have to do any additional coats. So once our surface is completely dry, we are going to grab our pencil and we're going to draw a large circle in the center of our board. So for a circle, we want it to be about 4 inches. So if you have like a bowl or a mug that you would like to trace, you totally can. So now we get to start placing our buttons. So I'm going to choose the largest buttons that I have and I'm going to line those up on the circle. So I'm going to alternate them between the red, white, and green. When I'm happy with how they look, I'm going to grab my tacky glue and start gluing them in place. Now that all of the larger buttons are glued down and in place, we can start arranging the smaller buttons. So first, I'm going to take small buttons in the variety of the 3 colors and just start placing them in between the larger buttons on the inside of the wreath. And then we're going to go through and make sure that each one of those small buttons is glued down and secure onto our board. So now that we have the inside of the wreath filled with small buttons, we're going to do the same thing but on the outside. We could also take some small buttons and glue them on top of the larger ones. So for example, I'm going to take a dark green button and glue it on top of a white one, and red on white and green on red. For this next step, we are going to be using our white paint and the bottom of our paintbrush. So we're just going to take the bottom of our paintbrush, dip it into the white paint, and add some dots onto our blue background. This will kind of look like snow is falling behind our wreath. So for our last step, we're going to make a bow to go on our wreath. So we are going to be needing our 2 red pipe cleaners. We are going to take our first pipe cleaner. We're going to find the center of it and just hold on to the center with our finger. And then we're going to take the end, one side of it, and bring it into that center and secure that end in place so we have a loop. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we just want to make sure that we bring that end towards the center and then secure it in place. And this will be the top half of our bow. And we can always move around the wire of the pipe cleaner to kind of create the loops that we like. Now we're going to grab our second red pipe cleaner and we're going to fold it in half. We want to make sure that we get a point at the fold, as this will be connecting the 2 pieces. So now we're going to take our newly folded pipe cleaner and put it over the center of the first pipe cleaner that we folded and wrap that point around it. We want to make sure that those 2 pieces are securely together. Next, we're going to grab our pencil and we are going to wrap each of the bow tails around our pencil. So this will create a spiral of the 2 tails and make a nice little pretty bow. So after the pipe cleaner is wrapped around the pencil, you just pull the pencil out and it leaves behind a spiral. And we're going to do that same thing on the other side. And lastly, we're just going to glue our bow onto our wreath. So you can choose if you want the bow at the bottom or at the top. And then you're just going to flip your bow over and add some tacky glue to the center of your bow. Once you glue the bow on, that tacky glue will probably need to dry a little bit longer than it did with the buttons, just because of the texture of the pipe cleaner. Thanks for watching, and happy holidays from WCDC Art.